Dr. Mead.
Get off of me.
Get what off?
An idea planted in the mind.
I know this place.
Will blossom into a whole new reality. You can wake up now.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2021 Netflix horror thriller Hypnotic, a film that is directed by Matt Angel and Suzanne Coote, and it stars Kate Siegel, Jason O'Mara, Jewel Hill and Lucy Guest. And this film focuses on Kate Siegel's character Jen. We see her at the beginning of the film. She's in a pretty dark place. She's suffered a personal tragedy. She's split with her boyfriend and she's unemployed. So her life is kind of going nowhere. And she's recommended by her best friend Gina to see a therapist. And this therapist is Dr. Colin Mead. Now, she agrees to go, and almost immediately he offers her hypnotherapy. She agrees. It kind of temporarily turns her life around. And then she kind of learns that there's something sinister with this doctor, and he may actually be using hypnotherapy as a way to control women. Right, what are my thoughts on Hypnotic? Well, there's a lot about this film that will probably rile a few people, I guess. The script is very, very silly, essentially. There's a lot of plot holes here that you could drive a tank through here and there. But ultimately, it's actually quite a watchable film, this, and much of that is due to certainly Kate Siegel, who you will recognise from the Netflix shows, Hill House, Bly Manor, the most recent Midnight Mass, and she did a Hush a few years ago. She's always very watchable. She's a very good actress, and she fits this genre very, very well. And even though, like I say, the script here is very, very silly at times, she plays it straight down the middle. She takes the material seriously, and therefore her character is watchable, very, very watchable. She does a good job. There's quite a few scenes where she's kind of frozen, and she still manages to express her disgust and horror just through the look on her face and like the tears down her eyes and things like that. And that's not an easy thing to do. So she makes it very, very watchable, as does Jason O'Mara as Dr. Colin Mead, who plays a real slimeball of a therapist. You know, the usual kind of thing. I mean, he kind of ticks all the generic boxes. You know, he's good looking, he's charming, he's suave, all this kind of stuff. But underneath it all, he's a bit of a scumbag. And he plays the role very, very well. He knows what he needs this character to be, and he does that very, very well. He's a very dislikable character, but also likable when he needs to be at the beginning of the film. And so, therefore, the film does become very, very watchable because of those things. And the subject matter is interesting. You know, many of us have got this who don't understand hypnotherapy, and I'm one of those. We don't understand it, so therefore you're a bit like, is this possible? What's going on here? Would this be possible? Because we've all seen our mates get hypnotised by these hypnotists at parties and all this kind of stuff, and making them, you know, walk around the room like chickens and all that kind of stuff. But could they actually control someone like it's portrayed in this film? That would be interesting. So it does raise some questions. It does feel believable in an awful lot of what it portrays in regards to hypnotherapy anyway. If there was a therapist out there that was going to abuse it, could they abuse it in the way that it's portrayed in this film? I doubt it, but it certainly raises some interesting questions. As I've said, the script is just very, very silly. At one point, her and a friend go to see the police because they suspect that this Dr. Colin Mead, is controlling people. And straight away, this police officer doesn't know them really from Adam, and he starts sharing with them parts of his police investigation when they've investigated this therapist and all that kind of stuff. And you're just kind of like, you would not do that to people that have just walked in off the street, start sharing pictures from a police investigation and etc., etc. It just would not happen. And there are many instances as well where his trick basically is he puts you under, he hypnotizes you, and then he puts all these triggers in your brain and mind and stuff. And if he wants to control you, he rings you up and he gives a trigger word, and boom, that's it. And it shows that a few times in the film. But why would the police not be able to track that call, trace that call back to him? There's even a situation in this film where Kate Siegel's character actually records him when she goes under hypnotherapy. And even though he doesn't massively incriminate himself, the conversation that he has with her, because he knows he's being recorded, would be some form of evidence for the police, I would imagine, to at least protect this character of Kate Siegel's playing. So wouldn't that be evidence in some way? It's just bizarre. So there's this police officer that's not behaving like a police officer at all, and then there's these strange things going on, you know, where he's almost like the stupidest serial. Well, he's not really a serial killer, but he's like the stupidest therapist in the world, because he's leaving breadcrumb trails to him all the time, but the police are too stupid to catch him. So it does feel a little bit silly here and there, the film. Don't get me wrong, you'll watch it and there'll be more than once in the film you'll be rolling your eyes, but it still is a very watchable film. It's nicely shot, there's good production values, great performances, and an interesting subject matter. So it does make it quite an engaging and watchable film, and it's something that you will watch and probably enjoy to some degree. But just be aware, there are some really silly bits in it that will definitely make you question the legitimacy of some of the things that go on in this film. So 6 out of 10 from me. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it. So I hope you enjoyed this review, everybody. Thank you very much for watching, and I will be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.